Rabbi Lev for coming and spending time with us this morning. This talk is sponsored by Golda and Ned Steinman in memory of Golda's father, Moshe Raphael ben Chaim Meir, Tzai B'Alav Shalom. It is a great honor for us today to welcome Rabbi Lev, the chief Ashkenazi rabbi of Israel. Welcome, Rabbi Lev. The institution of the Rabbanut Rashi, the chief rabbinate, was the brainchild of Rav Kook, Cook, who served as the first chief rabbi even before the state of Israel was established in 1948. After 2,000 years of living in diaspora, the Jewish people came home. And in the vision of what that means, there would be an institution that would deal with all the big questions of Torah and Medina, all the big questions of Torah and politics, Torah and economics, Torah and an army. How do we as a Jewish people in a modern era, how do we translate all those Jewish values to practical reality, coming back after 2,000 years with kibbutz galiyot from more than 100 countries to our homeland, to Eretz Yisrael. The chief rabbinate was established to address all these issues, and even while politicians may have minimized the scope of the power and the authority of the chief rabbinate, still till this very day, all the issues which have to do with marriage and divorce, giur, conversion, these are issues which must be ratified, which must be decided upon by the chief rabbinate of Israel, and many other crucial issues which are connected to the destiny of the state of Israel and the Jewish people in the modern era and for all times. So we have one of the great figures in Eretz Yisrael today. His father was also a chief rabbi of Israel, famously, and we have now a second generation. The two chief rabbis today are second generation chief rabbis, which is an amazing slip for the Jewish people. Before being chief rabbi, Rabbi Lev was also the rabbi of Shoham, and a mostly secular community, and Modi'in, we all know the big Modi'in, almost 130,000 Toshavim. Rabbi Lev was the first rabbi of Modi'in, and I've been to many weddings from people from Modi'in, and where Rabbi Lev has served as the Mesader Kedushin. And I asked the people, I said, how is it possible that Rabbi Lev is the Mesader Kedushin? How did you get Rabbi Lev? They said, what are you talking about? Rabbi Lev is a close friend of our family. And I've heard this many times, that Rabbi Lev, even while being a chief rabbi of a city or the state of Israel, he still maintains personal close relationships with the people that he's met along the way. So it gives us great pleasure to have at Yeshivat Lev HaTorah, Chief Rabbi, Rabbi David Lev.
Good morning. First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you that after 2 years of Corona, COVID-19, that I'm here in Israel, I almost forgot my English. And now I need to remind myself the words and the language. So even I have mistakes, please help me. And from time to time, I want to remind you that you are here in Israel. So I'll move to Hebrew, and from time to time, I'll say a few words in English. It's okay? The Rosh Yeshiva said that I'm the second generation. And before Gemara, I want to tell you one point. I remember myself. I was in the 5th grade in elementary school in Tel Aviv. And I did what from time to time children do in their class. I don't remember if it was, what is the topic of this lesson, but I remember that I was bored. And because of that, I took papers and I made them small balls, and I was very good basketball player, and because of that, I sat and I remember myself threw on the heads of my friends. Please don't do the same. I thought that the teacher didn't see it, but after the 5 or 6 times, I don't remember how much, he said, "Come here." I understood that he saw. I didn't know if he saw 4 or 5 or 1, but everyone is terrible. He called me, he gave me a chalk. It was a chalk, a black chalk, and we are in the blackboard. He asked me, "Tell me, your father is a serious rabbi, yes?" I said yes. I was ashamed, but I said yes. And he asked me, he is a rabbi in those days, he was a rabbi in a neighborhood here in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and a very important rabbi. I said yes. So please write 0. I wrote 0 on the blackboard. Your father's father was very important rabbi in Poland. He murdered in the Holocaust in Treblinka, but he was member of Yeshivat Lev HaTorah in Poland before Holocaust, and he was very big leader in those days against the Germany and the Polish people. So you need to write another 0. I wrote. The other grandfather, the father of my mother, was chief rabbi of Tel Aviv. Rabbi Frankel was very smart, very clever man, and very warm personality. Even it was 35 years, I missed him. And he told me he's chief rabbi of our city. So please write another 0. I wrote. Can you tell me another famous rabbis in your dynasty? I told him the grandfather of my father was the Chaim Mitzanz, Divrei Chaim Mitzanz. Wow, Divrei Chaim from Mitzanz. Another 0. The Chaim Mitzanz, it means Maharal. Maharal Prague. Another 0. And Maharal is Rashi. And after 20 zeros, he stopped me. He took the chalk, it was a small chalk, after 20 zeros. He took this chalk and he wrote the number 1 under the line of 20 zeros. And he said, "Now remember, if you be serious, if you take your genius that you'll have from all the zeros of your dynasty, I'll write the number 1 in the beginning of this line." I don't know exactly what is the number 1 with 20 zeros. Billion, I don't know. But if you continue to make stupid things in the lesson, in the class, so he wrote the number 1 in the end of the line. And he asked me, "Tell me, which number is it?" I said 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And he said, how much it is? I said 1. So if it's only 1, why I need to spend the chalk and to destroy the blackboard? Sit down, please, I said, and I understood. And after this year, maybe after 1 year with me, it was for him so hard to be a teacher, so he went to be a rabbi of one of the cities here in Israel. And in his funeral, I said hesped, and I said there that now I'm here not because I'm chief rabbi of Israel, that came to say a few words to one of rabbis of the city, of the city here in Israel. I'm here because I want to tell you, my teacher, that I tried to use with zeros. I can't tell you that I succeeded to use with all zeros, but I tried. I open my speech with you with this word, because I want to tell you that everyone has a lot of zeros in his personality. All of us are children of Abraham and Sarah. We took from them zero of chesed. באברהם אבינו, חסד לאברהם. We are children of Yitzchak and Rivka. Yitzchak that agreed to sacrifice himself because that Hashem said. And even he didn't hear it from Hashem. Abraham heard it. He heard from Abraham. But he did it. And Rivka with Chesed. We are their next generations. And first of all, our goal is to take in the picture of generations that began with Abraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov and Rachel and Leah. It is till our generation. And first of all, our goal is to take our generation and to strengthen the ring that we feel connection to the last generations. And second, our goal is to make our ring so strong that it could help the rings for the next generations. And every one of you need to ask himself every day, what I'm doing that the next generations of me will be proud about me. This is a question that you need to ask yourself every day. Because I'm sure that everyone has a zeros in his dynasty. So you can be proud. I'm proud to say that I'm grandson of Moshe Chaim Lau, of Rabbi Yitzchak Yedidia Frenkel, of Divrei Chaim, of Maharal. I'm very proud to tell it to you. But the question is, what I'm doing that next generations can say after a few years that they are proud because they are grandson of me. You must remember it. And this is a question that you need to ask yourself every day, what I'm doing with it. And I want to add one point. The basic of Jew is our Torah. This is our life. We are said, we say every day, every night, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו. It's not only sentence in our Bible. It is true. This is our life, Torah. And because this is our life, we began and we said, אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. We said, ריבונו של עולם, you loved us. You loved our forefathers and you love us. And it means that you love us. It means תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. The expression of the love is the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave us Torah and mitzvot. How we can show that we love His gift? על כן, השם אלוקינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, and not only to learn, ונשמח בדברי תלמוד תורתך. We'll be happy with it. Why? Because this is our life. So we are happy. And this is a reason that we can ask Hashem, אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. Because we took ourselves to connection of Torah and mitzvot, this is the reason to ask, אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו. It will be with us all our life. So before I say a few words of Torah about the chief rabbinate, I want to learn you one point of Arbi Psochim, Perek Arbi Psochim, that you are learning today, and you have a privilege to learn it. So I want to in the beginning, and now this is a time for me to prefer to speak Hebrew. You want something? ערב פסוחים, ארבי פסוחים, סמוך למנחה. מחלוקת יש לנו כאן. אומרת הגמרא, מחלוקת בין רבי יהודה לרבי יוסי. בית שמש זה לא ירושלים. אז בבית שמש השנה לא תהיה השאלה הזאת הלכה למעשה. בירושלים, פורים, יהיה בשבוע הבא ביום שישי, וסעודת פורים, הרבה אנשים עשויים לאכול סעודת פורים ביום שישי אחרי הצהריים, ולהיכנס בסעודת פורים, להיכנס אל המועד המיוחד הזה של שבת קודש, ואז השאלה היא מה עושים. אז כתוב לנו כאן תתניא, מפסיקים לשבתות דברי רבי יהודה. רבי יהודה אומר שכשאנחנו נמצאים בסעודה פורים מגיעה שבת, עוצרים. אבל רבי יוסי אומר אין מפסיקים. רבי יוסי אומר ממשיכים את הסעודה, ואחרי זה עניינים של שבת. אמר רבי יהודה, אמר שמואל, אין הלכה לא כרבי יהודה ולא כרבי יוסי, אלא פורס מפה ומקדש.
כתוב לנו כאן פורס מפה ומקדש, כלומר ברגע כניסת שבת אתה פורס את המפה, מכסה את החלות, אומר קידוש, ממשיך את הסעודה, ובסוף הסעודה מברך ברכת המזון עם על הניסים, עם רצה, ואחר כך מתפלל מהירים. אם נתפלל מהיר קודם, אז זו שאלה גדולה אם אפשר יהיה להגיד על הניסים בברכת המזון. מחלוקת גדולה מאוד. אגב, זה לא לכתחילה. לכתחילה גם אין שום עניין בהלכה לאכול סעודת פורים אחרי הצהריים. אפשר לאכול סעודת פורים בבוקר, ולהפך זריזים מקדימים למצוות. הציבור נוהג ליטול ידיים אחרי הצהריים, אבל זה לא חייבים, ממש לא. סעודת פורים אפשר וצריך להתחיל, אז אפשר וצריך גם לגמור ביום. אם לא גמרתי ביום, מברכים עדיין על הניסים בברכת המזון לאורך הלילה. זה קודם כל כהערה. אומר הראש, כותב רבינו אשר, כותב הראש, דאפשר, דאף על גב דשרי רבי יוסי להתחיל, ולא חייש להיכנס כשהוא תאב, מכל מקום, לכשתחשך, צריך להפסיק מפני כבוד השבת. בדרך כלל, usually Friday afternoon, this is no time of meal. יש עניין גדול, יום שישי אחרי הצהריים, להיכנס לשבת כשהוא רעב. לא להיכנס לשבת שהוא שבע, כדי לאכול סעודת שבת לתיאבון. רבי יוסי אומר, אין עניין כזה, כך אומר הראש, כך לומד הראש, שבדעת רבי יוסי אין מעלה בדבר הזה, ואף על גב דשרי רבי יוסי להתחיל, מתיר רבי יוסי להתחיל את הסעודה בשבת ביום שישי אחרי הצהריים, ולא חייש והוא לא חושש להיכנס כשהוא תאב, הוא לא חושש מהעניין הזה. מכל מקום לכשתחשך צריך להפסיק מפני כבוד שבת. כתוב כאן דבר מעניין. בדרך כלל בכל המצוות יש הלכה לא לאכול לפני המצווה. לכן, אני לא יודע איך נוהגים כאן, אבל בקהילות רבות מאוד תקיעת שופר בראש השנה מצווה מן התורה. לא אוכלים לפני תקיעת שופר. לא אוכלים במוצאי תענית אסתר לפני קריאת המגילה, לא אוכלים. למרות שאנחנו בצום, לא אוכלים. כי כשמגיע זמן של מצווה, אתה לא אוכל. כשמגיע זמן של מצווה, אתה חייב לקיים את המצווה, לא אוכלים לפניה. פה יש מצווה של שבת. מצוות סעודת שבת, עונג שבת. יש מצווה של קידוש. פה רבי יוסי לא חושש לזה. אבל מה שכתוב כאן, נשים לב, אני אקרא שוב בדברי הראש. אומר הראש, דאף על גב דשרי רבי יוסי להתחיל, רבי יוסי מתיר להתחיל, ועכשיו אנחנו רואים שהוא מתחיל, בעצם הוא אומר מותר לך להתחיל, ואין בעיה של לא לאכול ביום שישי אחרי הצהריים. מכל מקום לכשתחשך צריך להפסיק מפני כבוד שבת. כלומר, כתוב כאן בדברי הראש דין מיוחד, שהטעימה הראשונה, האכילה הראשונה ביום שישי צריכה להיות ביום שישי אחרי הצהריים אחרי קידוש. הדבר הראשון מהרגע שנכנסת שבת שאתה אוכל, זה צריך להיות אחרי קידוש. זה דין בשבת, בקידוש של שבת, בסעודה של שבת. זה לא קשור לשאלה האם אתה אוכל סעודת שבת כשאתה רעב, או אתה אוכל סעודת שבת כשאתה לא רעב. אלא הקידוש בשבת צריך להיות הסעודה הראשונה. לכן ברגע שמגיע הזמן, פורס מפה, מקדש, ועכשיו אתה יכול לאכול. כך כתוב כאן בדברי הראש. יש להאריך בזה הרבה, אבל אני מבקש ללמוד מכאן. יש לי גם הרבה נקודות, גם כדאי לעיין במגן אברהם, רע"א, בעיקר על המגן אברהם ברע"א, אבל בגלל השעון אני לא מתעכב, אלא אני מבקש להזכיר לנו דבר אחד. הבסיס צריך להיות של קדושה. שבת קודש מגיעה, איך מתחילים את שבת קודש? עם קידוש. איך הולכים לשבוע של 6 ימי המעשה במוצאי שבת? הבדלה. עם הקדוש ברוך הוא איתנו. מתחילים עם השם. כל דבר, אם ההתחלה היא עם השם, העולם נראה אחרת. היום נראה אחרת. האדם פוקח עיניים בבוקר. מה הדבר הראשון שהוא אומר? מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים. הוא מתחיל את היום עם השם. רואים פה את העניין של ההתחלה. אני אומר שוב, אפשר יהיה להסתכל בנקודה הזאת. תראו את המגן אברהם שמביא ראיה מהר"ן, הוא לומד אחרת, אבל המגן אברהם כאן, הרב כותב כאן את הדין הזה, שזה לא רק גזרה שלא אוכלים לפני קידוש, שלא אוכלים לפני מצווה, אלא כתוב כאן דבר נוסף, דין בכבודה של שבת. מתחילים דבר בקדושה. מוריי ורבותיי, מדינת ישראל קמה, ולפני שקמה מדינת ישראל, לפני 101 שנים, ישבו בירושלים עיר הקודש גדולי ישראל בראשות הרב אברהם יצחק הכהן קוק, יחד עם הרב יעקב מאיר, and they took decision to establish chief rabbinate of Israel. In the diaspora you can find communities with rabbi of communities. In the diaspora you can find that this rabbi is responsible of kashrut, as a rabbi in Beit Din. But here in Israel, this is not only state of Israel. This is a Jewish country. And what it means, Jewish country? Chief rabbinate. One values, one rule, one way, not to separated of too much kinds of Torah. We have one Torah. Of course, minhagim, everyone with his minhagim. Minhagim, the some of people who came from Morocco is not the same of the song of people who came from Iraq, and it's not the same of the song of people who came from Russia and Ukraine, today I said together, and Poland, and US, and Brazil, everyone with his song of tefillin. And Rabbi Shlomo Karlibach began another way.
But this is only the music. The basic is the same. Everyone arrived to Shema Israel. And it is the same Shema Israel. Our Sefer Torah is the same. Yes, you can find in Sephardic Shul that they put Sefer Torah in box of wood or silver, and in Ashkenazi Shul they cover with other things. But into the Sefer Torah is the same. And we are one nation. And we must keep it that we are one nation. For example, Torah said that in Rosh Hashanah we took one shofar and Tkiya, Truah, and Tkiya. But what is Truah? Some people in one place thought it is what we say today, Shvorim. Other people in others said that Truah is what we are saying, Truah. Other things said that this is Shvorim Truah, together. And we understand that if one is in one shul is Shvorim, in one shul is Truah, in other shul is Shvorim Truah, after one generation it will be another communities, after one nation, after one generation it will be other nation. So said Rabbi that we are doing Tkiya, Shvorim Tkiya, Tkiya Truah Tkiya, Tkiya Shvorim Truah Tkiya, to keep that it will be one nation. Only one rule of one Torah. And because of that, when we arrived back to our home, to Israel, this is the time to be sure that we have only one Torah. Everyone in his shul can sing what kind of song he prefers. But this is the same in things that they are in common of all the Jews. Kashrut, Giyur, conversion, and all the things that we need to be sure that we are one nation. I said Kashrut because, for example, when I was elected to my I don't want to say job, to my life. This is life. When I was elected, came the owner of hotels. He has 26 hotels in Israel. And he asked me, why in one city the rabbinate told me that I need to do like this, and in other city, another rabbi told me to do like this. And there you have one Torah, it said, or 26 Torah. And I told him, you and I, we have one Torah. But a lot of opinions how to do it. But I agree, and I wrote rules that it will, during all the country, the same rules of Kashrut. Unfortunately, the Knesset and government, they did against the opposite, and they destroyed the way of keeping of Kashrut. So now is the time, first of all, to tell you that everyone will be sure that if you are going to eat something, be sure that if it is in Beit Shemesh, be sure that this is under the kashrut of Chief Rabbinate of Beit Shemesh. If you are in Yerushalayim, be sure that this is under the kashrut of Chief Rabbinate of Yerushalayim. And this is like this in all the country, and we will send the secular people in the government that, excuse me, you don't know and you don't understand what it means kashrut, what it means Torah. A lot of years, this is so simple to understand that who said what is the rules of kashrut? Rabbinate, Chief Rabbinate. Like that all said what is the rules of hospitals, the Ministry of Health. But we are today in confused days of government. So first of all, keep rules of kashrut according to the rules of Chief Rabbinate. Every city in her responsible. Be sure that the license of kashrut is of this city. Conversion. We can sitting in Beit Medrash to learn, to try to understand, and maybe we have a lot of arguments. In the moment, Abaye, Rabbi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, a lot of arguments you can find. But the halacha is one. The underline is one. And you need to keep it. That if you have an argument about conversion, the play to do it is in Beit Medrash. In Chief Rabbinate we have Beit Medrash, and we learned. I can give you an example. A few years ago, my father was Chief Rabbi of Tel Aviv, and he is a member of Beit Medrash Chief Rabbinate, Moetzet HaRabbanut HaRashit. And I knew in one issue that he thought with one way, and I, in Torah, I thought another way. And he wanted to give respect to me, because now I am the chief rabbi. So he was silent. We opened the meeting, we learned that this rabbi said like this rabbi said like this rabbi said like this. I said, and I saw that my father said, and he didn't say any word. So I said that, okay, I heard of all of you, but now I know that Chief Rabbi of Tel Aviv has another opinion, so please, Chief Rabbi of Tel Aviv. He was shocked. And he said, no, I don't. And he told me that I said against your opinion. I told him, Chazal taught us, Et vahev besofa. Chazal taught us that even the father and the son sat in the Beis Medrash and they argument, they fighting. I said yes, you said no. I said yes, I give you proof. I prove my opinion and you try to prove your opinion. And after that, maybe someone thought that father and son fighting? Et vahed besofa. After the Beis Medrash, when they went out from the Beis Medrash, Ohavim ze lazeh, love each other. So I told him, now we are in Beis Medrash, and now we need to try to understand what the Torah asks us, what Kodesh Baruch Hu asks us today. So we need to fight each other. And I told him, I promise not to fight because we must fight. I have an argument if I think another people. So please, Chief Rabbi of Tel Aviv. And he began. And this is very nice to see it, to understand it. And this is a way to give respect and to go together to understand what Kodesh Baruch Hu asked us and what is the opinion of Torah about a lot of questions that we have in our generation. If I want to share with you stories about problems of Giyur, conversion, of kashrut, of a lot of questions every year, every day, every hour in my office is another problem. Yesterday I sat with problem of mamzeros. Yesterday I sat with problem of a couple that I helped them to divorce. And from this place I went to officiate a wedding of other couple with happiness. And I gave a lesson in Gemara, in Bnei Brak. And I gave answer question to Rabbi in the diaspora that called me and asked something. I put here in the Besmedrash a small book that a lot of my answers during the year of Corona, COVID-19, that we need to give answers to all the diaspora, to all the people in Israel. Maybe what will be with Shabbat Zachor, what we are doing with body that in Italy and Argentina they wanted to bury the body, and we told them, of course, not what to do without and with to save the people that bury them. So bury them. So this is one symbol of the question that you can see. But I want to tell you one point before, and now I need to go. Do you know who is the most important Jew that have an influence in the world? Of course, for the generations is Moshe Rabbeinu. But who is a Jew who has influence, the most important influence in his generation? Maybe Yosef HaTzadik. He was Mishneh LeMelech. But maybe Mordechai Yehudi. Mordechai was the king, the Mishneh LeMelech, that his king was busy with the wine and a lot of things, and he gave him the ring to sign all his decision. It was 127 countries, 127 מדינה, מהודו ועד כוש, all around our earth. And he was the most important man, that his decision is duty all the people in the world. But Mordechai understood that even though he preferred to leave all his place, all his stage, all his personality there in Paras, and he made Aliyah with Ezra and Nehemiah and Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel, and he came to Israel. Mordechai was one, instead of to be the king of 127 countries, he preferred to be one of the members of the Sanhedrin, of the chief rabbinate of those days. Because to be member of chief rabbinate and to be Talmid Chochem in Eretz Israel is better, is the best way to feel happy, to feel close to Hashem. And I want to bless you that you understood it, and because of that, you are sitting here in Beit Hashem, in the Lev of Torah, in the heart of Torah. You are sitting here in Beit Midrash, and you are learning here in Eretz Israel. So you show to Mordechai that maybe you are in his dynasty. You understood it, you did it, and I bless you to a lot of successful of Torah, and serve Am Israel, and continue the way of לעלות ולהצליח בדרכה של תורה, כל אחד ואחד בהתאם למילוי משאלות ליבו לתורה.